Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day today. It's a beautiful day in Florida. It's like 76 degrees today, sunny. Decided to go for a walk on the trail. So today's video, something interesting happened. So basically what I do is I'm a home inspector, like everybody knows. And every year I reach out to my previous clients. I go back maybe a year and a half. And what happened was I noticed that a lot of my clients said that they were about to sell the house that they just bought and relocate, or they just already sold it. And it was interesting. One of my realtors, one of my good realtors, said that a lot of her clients, well, some of them, are calling her and saying, hey, that house you sold us in that HOA community, we can't take it anymore, and do me a favor and just go ahead and put it back on the market, because we don't like living here with this HOA. So today's video, we're going to talk about why these people, what they're saying, that it's making them move and leave an HOA, Homeowners Association, in such a short period of time of owning a house. So do me a favor, if you like these kind of videos, subscribe. It takes less than a second. It really helps out the channel. So let's get started. Let's start on the first one. One of my clients, they told me that when they moved in, that their HOA fee was $268 a month. And they were okay with that. And then within 3 months of living there, they got a notice, because of insurance and everything that's going on with insurance in Florida, that their HOA fee is going to be increasing. So it's going from that to almost $485. And they never budgeted for that. And nobody warned them about it. Nobody said anything. Hey, we might have to raise rates on because of insurance and other things that are going on. And they just can't afford it. So they told me that they're going to have to sell the home, and it's not the only people that I hear this from. Like HOA, especially with the older condo buildings, now they have to have certain reserves because of the collapse that happened in South Florida. So now it's coming up that they have to have reserves and have engineers report and make sure the building's safe, which I agree with. You should have that. But it's costing a fortune. So now they have to basically have all their coffers up to date, that they could afford to do all these things. And who's going to pay for it? Obviously the homeowners. So HOA fees, going up so dramatically. It's like between that and the cost of electricity and the cost of everything going up, no wonder people reach a breaking point and they just can't afford it. And HOA fees is one of those things that if you go too high, it's not worth living there. That's what the people are saying. And they're saying, okay, we can't afford this. Even if we wanted to, and even if we love the place, we just can't. So we're going to sell. Let's go on to the next one. Another client I spoke to is not selling their house yet, but they're thinking about it because they got a notice this past Halloween. They decorated the front of their place for Halloween and didn't realize it was against the rules. So the rules and regulations, people are realizing that it's just way too much sometimes. So they move into a place not thinking about it, and then they go in there and they just want to do, like, maybe change the color of the outside of the house, maybe just fix a few things, plant a tree or remove some bushes, whatever they want to do, minor stuff, just to make it feel more homey. And the HOA, some of them, are like, hey, you can't do that. Anything you do, you have to get permission from us. So a lot of these owners feel like, hey, I don't even own this house technically. They own it, because I feel like a renter, even though I'm paying the mortgage, I'm paying the taxes, I'm paying the insurance on this particular place. They have the say of everything. And if you don't follow their rules, it's not like you can say, okay, screw off, I'm not going to do it, because they'll put liens on your house, and HOAs have a lot more power. So this couple is like, it was simple Halloween decorations, and they're like, no, you can't do that. Take it down, you know? And I was surprised because I didn't think that would be a rule, but I guess it is. Every HOA has these certain rules that you have to follow. So do yourself a favor. If you're buying into a homeowners association, whether it's a townhouse, condo, or just a subdivision, read those bylaws like crazy and talk to the people that been living there for a few years and ask them, how is the HOA? You know, are they going to be all over me for every little thing? You know, like another one, they have this is a good one. So I talked to another client and he sold because he bought a townhouse, and at the same time, you know, when he's retiring, he bought a pickup truck. No big deal. He bought a bigger pickup truck, an F-250 like the one I have. And when he pulls into the driveways aren't long enough. So he kind of covers the sidewalk a little bit, maybe a foot or two, you know, and they're saying, no, you can't do that. And they get notices, you can't be covering the sidewalk at all but he says the driveway is too short. They're like, we don't care. And I say, well, I can't park in the street. They're like, no, I can't fit in the garage. Then they're like, well, that's not our problem. So now he has a dilemma, you know, he had a dilemma. Should I sell the truck? You know, should I move? You know, because you can't even, they basically dictating that he can't have a pickup truck because it's too long by a foot. It's crazy situations like that. Really, really check out the rules in your HOA. Number 3, yeah, basically I numbered all these when I talked to these people, what they complained about. This other couple that I spoke to ask them how things are going, they're thinking about selling because of the Homeowners Association, because they don't feel like they have a voice. That's it, they just don't have a voice. They feel this clique of people make their own rules and what they want. They meet every month, and when they go to the association meetings or run, they're kind of being pushed out. So politics are going in place. Yes, they said that they're able to talk and say what their gripes are, but they're ignored. Even if they have other people backing them up. It's just this, you know, some homeowner associations are very cliquey. And that's something you really have to look into. Because if you do want to make changes, and there's good things about homeowner associations too, you know, because you don't want a neighborhood that's run down with broken cars, you know, couches out on the front lawn and stuff. But you should be able to have a voice, you know, of what's going on. So talk to the people and ask them, go to a meeting or two before you buy and see how it's run. See how many people show up and see what people are saying. It's simple, you know, tell them, hey, I'm thinking about buying here. So since I'm thinking about buying here, I just want to go to a meeting and see how the meeting is run. Because you may not get involved with homeowners association, but if it doesn't, you know, if you don't have a voice and you really need to talk about something, it may get frustrating. And for this particular couple, they're saying it's too frustrating. They went to multiple meetings and they had no say. All right, let's go on to the next people I talked to, and wrote down some notes. So I spoke to this other couple and they sold. I didn't even realize they sold because I did their inspection maybe 14, 15 months ago. And I asked them, what did they sell? Didn't they like the place? And their biggest gripe was there was absolutely no privacy. They go out in their driveway and there's people there, and you know, people trying to be friendly, they're talking. I guess these people won't be left alone. You know, everywhere they go, they just didn't feel like they have privacy. The way their townhouse was set up, the window was aligned with the window next door. So you can't leave your shades open, and they didn't like that. And then when they're on their balcony in their backyard, because they had a nice balcony, everybody has balconies, and you can't go out there, and if you talk, you know, everybody could hear you. That's how close the balconies are. So they're like, yeah, no privacy. It's just too much for us. So I guess when you're looking at a townhouse or a condo, make sure you have the privacy you like, because that was a big enough deal for this particular couple to say, hey, we're going to move, and we're going to move to someplace that we have more privacy and we can have the shades up. Think about that one. All right, let's talk about the next one. So I talked to this person, you know, I asked him how he's liking his place, and he's actually owned it for almost 2 years, but he didn't move into it till about 8 months ago. I guess he rented it before or something, but he's having a conflict with his neighbor. So I said, you know, the neighbor has a dog that's barking. You know, he tried speaking to the neighbor, you know, nicely and saying, hey, you know, your dog's barking at 11, 12 o'clock at night, you know. And he said that pretty much his neighbor said to go screw off. And so he went to the association, and they wanted nothing to do with it. So he's like, what am I going to do? I have nobody to help me out with these conflicts, you know? It's just like, I'm trying to do everything I can, but the association is not helping me out. So I guess on this story, what you should do is, if you're buying a townhouse or a condo and you don't have a lot of separation from your neighbors, before you close, I really, really recommend you talk to your neighbors. Introduce yourself, you know, maybe just sit there and talk to them. Go there in the morning, go there in the afternoon, go there at night and see who's outside, you know, and do your research. You might have the perfect house and the perfect location, but you might have neighbors that are nightmares. How many of you have nightmare neighbors, you know? Post that below. I'm just curious, but this is enough for that person who owned this place a short period of time to say, I'm done, I'm selling it, over with. And next time, he said, I'm gonna make sure that I meet the neighbors, or I buy something that I have enough separation that even if they have a barking dog, that it won't bother me. All right, that was, you know, it is what it is, but I would definitely do that. Let's go on to the next one. This other couple that I spoke to have been there for a while. I guess they owned this place and they owned another place, but I did their inspection like 3 years ago, but they're saying that they're selling it now. And the reason why they're selling it is they said because the place is going downhill. I'm like, what do you mean? So because of the insurance issue that they were having, and they didn't want to raise rates as much as other associations willing to do because of insurance costs, they cut back on maintenance. So the place used to be kept up really, really good, but now it's becoming shabby. You know, the exterior looks shabby, the roof needs work, the lawn looks like garbage. They're saying it just looks shabby, you know, more and more. So what ended up happening with these people is, it used to be a restriction that only 5% of the whole area, the building, would be allowed for rentals, you know? And no, it's a townhouse, so only 5% was allowed because of the whole complex. But now what they did is, again, a click went in, some investors, they bought a few. They said, okay, we're allowing anybody to rent as long as they want anything. So now a bunch of renters went in, and 50% of the place or 45% of the place is all renters. And basically the maintenance not there. The people that, you know, they don't own the place, they rent the place. A lot of them just don't care what happens, you know. They're just there for the short-term period, you know. And they said, it's going downhill. It was so beautiful just 3 years ago. So the moral of this story is, look at how many units are allowed to be rented. Because you know, if, you know, a lot of them could be rented, that could be a problem. Really, really look into that. So that's maintenance. It was beautiful, and then it's not. So talk to the association, talk to the people, look at the history of the maintenance of the building. Even though the association takes care of the roof and the exterior of your place that you want to buy, are they doing a good job? So if you get a home inspection, even though a lot of home inspectors, you know, don't look at the outside because they're like, oh, that's the association, I look at the outside, even if it's association. And I make some notes in my inspection reports. But that could be a big thing. See how they do with maintenance. This one, I really feel bad for this couple. Basically, they're older couple, and the husband ran into some medical issues, and they fell behind on their bills, and they had to take care of medical stuff. So they couldn't afford their HOA fees. And they're only like 2 or 3 months behind. Okay, I know people are going to say, well, they're behind. But now they're saying they're threatening to foreclose on them. And they said, we just need a couple more months to get our ducks in a row and we'll catch everything up. They're like, no, we're going to foreclose. I understand homeowners associations need to be strict and make sure that everybody pays the HOA fees. But in my personal opinion, I think they need to be reasonable and look at the circumstances. And I think a lot of people would understand in the association, you know, that things happen that people just can't afford the monthly payment, especially if it was jacked up recently. So now what's happening with these people is they have no choice, because they're like, the association is all over them. It doesn't seem like they're going to have any leeway in it. So they're going to put it on the market. You know, thank God they don't have a mortgage. Imagine losing your home and you don't have a mortgage because of a $400 HOA fee. It could happen. So they're going to put it on the market next month, and they're going to move into something else. And they said, whatever we move into, they're going to make sure that they have to move into an HOA, because one of the benefits of HOA is they take care of the exterior of the home, cutting lawn, you know, maintenance, roof, and all that stuff. And they need that because of their age. So they're going to find one and make sure the HOA fees are low, make sure they have reserves, make sure the maintenance is good, and look at the history of how much the HOA fees went up. And when you're going into an HOA that's brand new construction, you know, and they say, oh, it's gonna be $200 a month, don't fall for that, because once the complex is done and the subdivision is completed, they might be like, oh yeah, I know we said that to get people in here, but it's really $600 a month. Take that into consideration. But anyways, they're gonna find a place that's established and that has a good history of keeping the fees low, and it's in pretty good shape. And that's what they have to do, all because they fell behind a couple of months, so they didn't want to lose their home. Anyways, that's today's video. Greatly appreciate it. Like always, do me a favor, comment below, give this video a thumbs up, check out the next video over here. Or over here, I never get that one right. And we'll talk to you on the next one. And do me a favor, subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.